Well, generally, non-productive assets remain, if you had bought gold at the time of Christ and you figure the compound rate on it, it may be a couple tenths of 1%. It essentially is not going to deliver anything other than supposed scarcity, because you can only mine so many. But so what? I mean, what does it produce itself? The check is a wonderful idea. Just imagine how the world would be without being able to write checks or have wire transfer of funds. But it doesn't make the check intrinsically itself worth a lot of money. And if you said you can't use something called check with a little piece of paper, you'd do something else to transfer money. I think that anytime you buy a non-productive asset, you are counting on somebody else later on to buy a non-productive asset because they think they can sell it to somebody for more money. And it's been tried with tulips, and it's been tried with various things over time.
And the reason I like the insurance company analogy is because if you think about, people talk about the intrinsic value of Bitcoin. This is a Warren Buffett argument, that Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. It doesn't have any earnings. It'll never pay any dividends. And so how do you even think about something like that? It is a new technology. It's something that couldn't be done before. But in any case, the answer that I have to that is, well, I mean, what's the intrinsic value of that Mickey Mantle baseball card that sold for $5.5 million? It's just cardboard, and it doesn't even have a legend. It could be counterfeited very easily. Or what's the intrinsic value of a Picasso painting, which is just canvas and paint and maybe a frame? But people will pay millions or tens of millions of dollars for it. And so it comes down at the very basic level for supply and demand.
Warren Buffett says digital assets are rat poison, so it's got to be rat poison because Warren and Charlie are so darn smart. Here's another tagline. Yeah, they're rat poison because fiat's the rat. Okay,
that's
it's
100% where I was going to go with that.
And Charlie Munger, all due respect, he's conflicted and he's also soggy. Okay, his time has come and gone. 94 years old. I would not be running to him to get investment advice on technology. Okay,
they've missed every major tech play in the past decade. I mean, I think they just bought Amazon less than 2 years ago.
Yeah, now they're big into Alibaba because, Charlie loves the Chinese, and that position's sort of carved him a new arsehole. That's what, that's what happens in markets.
Yeah, it's funny too with Charlie because he has that famous quote that show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's so essential to understanding Bitcoin, I think, that it's just a vortex of positive incentives. You can't turn it off.
Why is he not embracing it? Because he knows that Bitcoin will disintermediate about 50% of his portfolio,
right,
because
he
owns all the American Expresses of the world. He owns huge in the banks, right? Wells Fargo, not as big in Bank of America. But look, Bitcoin's going to absolutely disintermediate all those, and that means that his portfolio could get carved. And his incentive is for it not to get carved.
Yeah, so he suffers from incentive blindness.
That's fair.
In addition to being very old and not very
good guy. Look, okay,
in touch with technology.
A lot of people love him, and far be it for me to say I'm even a half of as good as investor as they have been, but I have sat in the trenches. The reality is, when the information changes, you need to change your portfolio.
Right.
You can be really stubborn and not change your portfolio as the information changes, and I know how that ends for most people.